Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everyone to tonight's official coverage of Asrnz's 2025 GT3 series. It is round 8. It is Barcelona, a very sunny Barcelona, mind you. Obviously, broadcast brought to you by MATCHFIT Entertainment and the good people at Race Command for keeping all the cogs turning smoothly here at Asrnz. I'm Davo, and as always, J-Man right by my side. How are you doing this evening?
I'm great. Good to be back, Davo. Welcome aboard, viewers. As you mentioned, round 8, the penultimate round of the series.
Yes.
And, mate, what a ripper this is going to be. It's going to be hot. It's going to get a little spicy because we're at the business end. We have got 2.8 miles of racetrack, so 4.655 kilometres.
Thank you very much.
Scorching hot.
Yeah.
Racetrack here at Barcelona, Catalunya. Looking forward to this one. 16 turns here. This is going to be absolutely wild tonight. These guys are out there. It's the business end. It's heating up. We'll touch a little bit throughout the evening on what is Everything Championship, but right now they are about to embark on what will be an all-in 20-minute qualifying. Now, we don't get to see this too much given that it's predominantly a sprint and super sprint round format series. So we were up for this one, Davo.
Enduro. Yes, Enduro tonight.
Both been looking forward to this. And particularly around the tyre strategy, Asrnz do such a fantastic job of constructing these series around limited tyre sets, variable weather. Now, this one is no exception with tonight. As I mentioned, 20-minute all-in qualifying. It's going to have to be managed very, very well because they only get 2 sets of tyres. Now, 89 minutes.
This is for the whole night too. This is what you're saying. So they've got to do 20-minute all-in qualifying and then 89 minutes of racing.
Yeah, well, I love the fact that, look, the administrative team listened to the people and they said, look, 90 minutes is too long for an enduro. So
well,
the good people here at
is.
Asrnz turned around and said, cool, we hear you, we'll give you 89 minutes. So best of luck to them out there on those 2 sets of tyres. So, you know, we'll talk about that through the night, Davo, the fact that, look, how deep do these guys push a tyre into qualifying in respect that they've got to use one of those sets once again during the race effectively.
Definitely.
They don't have to, but at the end of the day, they're likely going to reach for the tyre
without a doubt.
And have a crack. So it's going to be an interesting one. Buckle up, get your beverages and your snacks ready because this one is going to be an absolute ripper.
Look, absolutely. J-Man, as we see a few of the boys starting to shuffle out on to the circuit now, and we talked about the temperatures. Obviously we're talking about tyres and the lack of tyres that they've got for the weekend and for the evening here tonight in round 8. But track temps, J-Man, already up there, 36 degrees, optimum track. With the ambient at 29. So, look, spicy weather. This track, really some long, constant radius corners here. The tyre wear is going to be critical here, isn't it?
100%. And, you know, there's a multitude of opportunity on this track. You know, we talk about how deep you want to go down into turn 1, namely turn 1 is Alf. And it's off the back. The braking zone is deep inside what is a just over a kilometre long straight. So plenty of time maybe to just grab a drink and have a big think about whether you're going to fire it down the inside to what is a pretty committed turn 1, turn 2 chicane through Alf and Renault.
Yeah.
And then up, you know, building into the lap, up into turn 3, the long sweeping right-hander. Definitely a good corner to try and get yourself focused for what is a lot tighter into turn 4 into seat there. And then building through the lap, they'll start heading back down the hill out of 5, down through 6, 7, tricky spot. We're going to see some incidents, I believe, down at turn 7, and then the little dog leg.
No doubt.
At turn 8, and then opportunities for cars running wide, maybe using up a few too many track cuts out of turn 9. A little bit of runoff there, but it gets you a little bit invited to just tempt the track limits a little bit too far there. And then the big braking zone down to turn 10, that's always one year in, year out, season in, season out, that we see guys with great opportunity outbraking themselves. Maybe some guys got the car a little bit better set up for the heavy brake zones, and then up through there we go through 11, 12, winding our way back down, and obviously we've got the chicane version through the GT3 program, through turn 13, 14, 15, and then a lot of cars set up trying to get that run out of 15 to be flat down through 16 for that big kilometre or just over a kilometre long straight, which makes up the lap here. It's going to be really entertaining. I personally think the Aston's going to be good here. It'll be interesting to see how Vic Chan fares this week. He had that Porsche really, really well hooked up at phases at Nürburgring last week. Ran into a few troubles, but yeah, for me, I'm be interested to see how the Astons fare here tonight.
Definitely, and like you just mentioned, look, Vic Chan in the V-Dub for this season, definitely out of his comfort zone. That was the whole point of it, just to sort of give himself a challenge, and a challenge it has been. Expect to see that man back in probably a front-engine rear-wheel drive car next season. Look, it was a bit of a mix of emotions last week. You know, some of the tops. Look, it really did get mixed up a little bit throughout both of the races. Some awesome racing. Nürburgring always delivering on the action, and we called it live again here at MATCHFIT Entertainment for Asrnz in the 2025 GT3 series, as we just watched Vic Chan, the man we were just talking about, just rounding out of that final complex corners and onto the back straight, onto the start-finish straight, should I say, across the line. Does he pull this thing up?
Yeah, 44-0 for Vic as well. It's a great lap. Now, interestingly enough, the tyre games have already begun.
I think so. Some guys
back in the pits. One flying lap on a 44-4. Happy enough with that. Season parked the car, so he's only done an out lap and then one hot lap. He's 3 3/4 tenths away from that top spot, but he'd be pretty happy with that. And then Steve Melling also in there on a 44-4. Good lap from Steve-O to park the car.
And Damien Jones also another to actually just shoot out one lap and park it up as well. It looks like Lee Perkins back in the pits as well. So the strategies are starting already, and what are we? We're not even halfway through qualifying. These guys are already thinking very long and hard about it, how this night's going to unfold. 18 on track tonight. J-Man, Barcelona, round 8 in Asrnz's 2025 GT3 series. We are starting to get down to the pointy end of the series. One more round after this one. This is a biggie, the Enduro round.
Yeah, so I'm just looking to, current points series leader Phil Antoon, he's out there. He's left it a little bit longer. I'm not sure whether he was waiting for the weather to cool down. Not likely. At 8 minutes past 2 in the afternoon, 29 ambient, 36 track. It's I think it's going to be status quo here for this qualifying session, but he is out there circulating on I think could be on his potentially on his out lap, I think, maybe there. So yeah, Chan at the top now, 43.8. So that's a very, very good lap. Anything from the 43s, yeah. So that answers my question.
So he went around again.
For Phil Antoon, he is on a cycle up lap.
Cameras on Shane Frodado at the moment. Provisionally second on the list there, as you guys can clearly see. Half a second behind Chan. He is up on his delta and making some good gain.
Yeah, hey, look, we might just grab a quick moment, given that this guy has parked the car. Good potential for this guy to, as we just grab him down, just break up his program a little bit, because I'm sure he's got plenty to do before the start of this one. Stewie Aerosmith, welcome to the booth.
Hey, guys.
Hey, mate. Hey, I might just picked up on your comment there. one word, tyres. Yeah, very, very hot out there, Stu. Saw the option there for you to go and bank a very, very good 44.4 and park the car. Look, a great opportunity presents itself here tonight, Stewie, with Matty Nipris obviously being claimed by Uncle Sam or the man, whoever he's working for, to pull out of the rest of the series here, and gives you an opportunity to really cement that third position in this title hunt and chase a little bit harder with 2 rounds to go. Talk to us a little bit about that strategy of one on the tyre and then done. Do you think it's going to be that bad out there tonight?
I'm not hopeful. It's bloody hot, as you guys can see. Done a bit of running in the week, and it's hard to keep the tyres in the window. So we'll see how it runs, but yeah, I'm trying to save the life on it.
So what's the theory behind that, just for those out there that may or may not be listening, Stewie, with tyres? Give us a basic rundown on that. You know, with the tyre pressure, obviously you've got all your setups, your camber, your caster, everything going on, but pressure-wise, would you look towards potentially an overinflated tyre or an underinflated tyre? Where are you looking? Where are you? I mean, we know that, what is it? The optimum pressure is what's that? 26.5 or something like that, is it?
Yeah, 26.6 to 27 really. But yeah, you're right. You nailed it. Most of us, I think, will be running at a higher pressure tonight to keep the temp out of it, because it's the temp that'll kill you with the wear. So I think most guys will be smart to run a slightly harder tyre. It's going to be about tyre life, and given the 89-minute distance of this race, I'd be surprised if no one takes a tyre. I really do.
Yeah, and so that puts gravity to the strategy that you've run with your qualifying program to really take as little out of that tyre as possible, given that you've only got 2 sets, Stu.
Absolutely. So whether you start on your quali tyre or you slap it on at the end, I think 90% of the field, you'd be a pretty brave man to try and run the whole distance on a tyre.
Yeah.
So I guess in saying that, like, we haven't touched on it too much this season. However, we did have a little bit of a chat just recently about it. Smashing curbs in a GT3 car with an underinflated tyre can cause that, I think you called it, or somebody called it, burping the other night. Yeah. So obviously with an overinflated tyre, it's not so much of an issue, yeah?
No, I haven't noticed any knockoff as such, hitting any curbs around here. Most of the curbs are pretty flat. Even the sausage curbs aren't, they're not aggressive as such. So, yeah, I think running the harder pressure, you will save that. It'll sort of go out of the equation. But I think how long you run, and if you're smart, you'll be keeping a look on your lap times, and when they start to swing the other way, you'll be getting in and grabbing that tyre. So, don't know what everyone else is going to do. I've got my strategy worked out. We'll just see how it goes. But going back to that P3 thing, I've got to hold off one of the greatest in Vic Chan. So he's bloody flying in that Porsche. I mean, he's just at the front right now. So, yeah, I'll do what I can. But, still got a Bathurst round coming up.
Yeah, and it just shows you deep in the piece, sorry, Davo, that there's still plenty to play for, Stewie. And, hey, just an interesting stat from up here in the booth, mate. Obviously, we've got all the God numbers. Steve Melling poked it in there on a 44.4, which I thought was a very, very good lap as well as yours. And I'll just give you a heads up, 266k an hour down the 1 kilometre back front straight for you, and 270 kilometres an hour for the Mustang of Steve Melling. So,
well, that's great news.
That must be something to contend with if he comes out behind you onto that front straight, Stewie.
Yeah, we all know what Barcelona's like. It's a long straight. Yeah. So anyone that's in the toe, turn 1, it can go all the way around to turn 4, a move around here. So it'll be interesting. Boys are sort of wrapping up the quali now, but I'm stoked for Melling. A few guys there stepped up again. Nev's also in the top 10s currently. So a couple of guys got to start from pit lane. So I'll be watching for those 2 pros coming through the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look, we won't hold you too much more, Stewie. Thanks for the chat, mate. Go well tonight. We'll be watching, and I'll be intrigued by the battle, which is, I guess, Stewie Arrowsmith and Vic Chan.
Yeah, I'm predicting a lonely race for me. Those boys at the front, those Giga guys are flying in the 43s, so see what their race pace is. But yeah, we'll have a crack at it. It'll be fun.
Yep.
Righto, mate. Look after the tyre. Go well.
Yep. Cheers, boys. Enjoy.
Thank you, Stu Arrowsmith, ladies and gentlemen. And we were just talking about Vic Chan, and still out in that Porsche, circulating in qualifying. Is that just wearing away that tyre?
Well, interestingly enough, I don't know.
as
Gone
well.
back out.
And
I thought he was in,
and
I'm pretty sure he's
Perkins
gone back out.
and Perkins back out as well, J-Man. So
Yeah, so that's interesting. And interesting as well, Webley opting for no run at all. So
yes, Webley and Spence.
Grimmer,
Yep.
yeah, opted for that. So be interesting to know a little bit more about that. And what have we got? We've got 5 minutes left.
Yep.
I wonder if we can
Bring him up here.
Quick word to Brandon Webley and just see if he'll have a quick chat with us. Are you there, Brandon?
Yeah, how you going?
Good, mate. Good. And yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm stuck. I'm going to start from pit lane, so that's a bit of a bummer, but I'm good apart from that.
So talk to us about that. What's the scenario there, mate? I thought that was a strategy player. Have you got something going on?
No, I got penalty for cutting into the pit entry too many times because I keep I keep cutting the entry line to the
blend line. Oh, of course.
Okay, so this is a post-race penalty that we've just been made aware of from a previous round, is it?
Yeah, it must be last round because I think I cut into the pit both races. So.
Okay.
I always forget about it.
Hey, well, it might serve you well here tonight. You know that, given tyre wear could well be an issue, Brandon.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It's only 2 sets. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a slight advantage. We saw yourself, Uncle Joe and Tony Spence all in the pits. I'm not sure whether both of those two are serving a similar penalty or they've just opted for a strategy play here. But look, we'll watch with interest, Brandon, because you've always got a ton of pace. We know how fast that Mustang is down this big front straight here. We were just mentioning Steve Melling's car, 270k an hour was the quickest car in a straight line. I no doubt that yours will be very slippery down that straight as well. So, hey, best of luck. Go well. It's a long way. It's not too long. It's not like it's 90 minutes. It's only 89. So
you'll be fine. Quickly. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I haven't done much practice, so I'll see how it goes. But yeah, should be good.
Hey, and congrats too, mate, on wrapping up the championship over at Rainlight recently too, mate. We didn't get a chance to talk to you on that final one, but congrats on that one. That was a fantastic result in a well-constructed series. So well done, Brandon, and go well tonight.
Good work.
Thank you, guys.
Right.
Brandon Webley, ladies and gentlemen. Just not choosing to stay in the pit lane throughout this 10-minute qualifying, 20-minute qualifying, should I say. But, enforced by the penalty gods here tonight. A bit of a slap on the wrist for Brandon. But like we just mentioned, it could actually come back and play into his hands, couldn't it, J-Man, with 2 solid fresh set of tyres here tonight. Might make a difference.
No, I mean,
10 into the pits.
If he works his way forward, and he manages to get up and play amongst the Chan, Antoon, Fordo crew up the top there for the podium, let's say for argument's sake he does work his way forward and gets up there, no matter what happens, at some point he's potentially going to be 4 laps better off than those guys, or potentially 5
or more.
For Fordo,
that's
because
right.
He's out there. He may have gone and scrubbed another set of tyres here. He's up on his lap ever so slightly. He's only one of 2 in this 18-car field that are actually out there on track with around 1:45 left to run in the session. So he's looking to see, I think, if he can get onto that front row. Now, he's going to need around about half a tenth to make that number. So he's not asking for a lot. However, he's 7 tenths down. He's actually a second down. Hang on, is he? Yeah, he is. He's quite a bit down and he's rolled out of it. So sure what the ploy is here, whether he's just rolling out to have one more go at it, something went bad on that lap, or whether he's actually going to fire that car back in the pit lane. But you mentioned Lee Perkins. Now, he's just gravitated up to P8 on 44.8, which is actually knocked Nev Shields out of the team.
And just pipped Mossy there too. So Mossy in the top 10 here tonight in the Mercedes as well, was sitting provisionally 8th. So tight at the mid-pack again, J-Man. Tight as hell. Wally Baker and Steve Melling leading that mid-pack there. So kudos to both of those boys. Steve Melling in the Fossil Fuels team, and Wally Baker, one of the Giga boys. So again, so many Giga racer, team racer guys in the top
Sorry,
group there.
I just picked up on Slambo. He did make it across the line to go and have a crack at one more lap. However, as he tipped into turn 1, the rear just broke away on the car on entry. So he was pretty committed to what was going to be a hot lap, and just the rear disconnected there. So it just put a little mark on those tyres for little or no reason, realistically.
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Vic Tan, Phil Antoon, Shane Frodo, Stu Arrowsmith, Steve Melling, Wally Baker in 6th. Eddie Fackery 7th, Lee Perkins 8th, Geordie Moss 9th, and Timmy Nash rounding out the top 10, J-Man, and more. I think how many we got on track there? 18.
18 in the field. So as Stu mentioned, Shieldsy with a good qualifying over his nemesis, which will be Damien Jones.
Yes.
We had those guys down in the booth last week after an absolute stellar performance from those two, which was, incredible. They were racing well inside the top 5-6 cars comfortably. We saw Shieldsy just a phenomenal result. It was a breakout drive. If I just bring up some data here and just have a look. Okay, so Nev Shields, yeah, so Shieldsy ended up with a P4 in race 2 last week, and I think Jones was he. I think, where was he? Okay, he was P6, and it ended up being, I think it was Jordan Moss in between them in the end. So that was a fantastic battle. So
yes, and it's on our YouTube. If you just want to flick back over there, ladies and gentlemen, to our channel after tonight's race live broadcast. Look, all of this stuff on our YouTube channel here at MatchFit Entertainment to relive, as we see quite often these boys do get back and have another quick look at it, because some of these battles are very intense. And yes, they always want to get back and have a look and revisit it. J-Man coming down to the final few seconds before they roll away on their formation lap. We will thank again, obviously, MatchFit Entertainment here, broadcasting to you live, and the good people at Race Command, providing servers and technical support. And keeping the cogs well oiled here at Asrnz and at many other communities around Australia and New Zealand. So look those guys up. Links are in the description, ladies and gentlemen. Hit us with a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We are winding down to round 8 here at Barcelona in Asrnz's 2025 GT3 Series Enduro tonight. It's not too long because it's not 90 minutes. It's actually only 89 minutes. One compulsory pit stop and only 2 sets of tyres over the evening. So plenty to think about for these guys. 20 seconds on the board before they roll away. J-Man, what are your thoughts? Look, you can't not think about the top 3. Obviously, Frodo, Arrowsmith, top 4, should I say? Frodo and Arrowsmith on the second row, and Chan and Antoon on the front row. But then, look, we've got a couple of the lower class drivers. We've got a whole bunch of them actually just in behind those guys. So interesting. With Spencer Webley starting from the pit lane. So interesting sort of race, dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think I like the option here that Chan, Antoon, Frodo, and Arrowsmith, and Melling for that matter as well. And then you've got Baker in there as well. Thackeray's been performing beautifully. Lee Perkins, we've seen him with some absolute stellar drives.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep. Series, but I can't help but think that if those top 3 or 4 just really get tied up in their own little battle here and push the pace really, really hard, which, you know, let's be fair, we're talking about some giggers up there, okay, before we
Oh,
get
yeah.
to the 777 stable. But those 3 giggers, if they pull a bit of a gap on Stewie Arrowsmith, it'd be a smart play. They'll all be in communication with each other just to wind it back down a bit, look after the tyre for the first 60 minutes at least, and then look to go racing the back end. However, if they get caught up in the battle and push each other's pace, and somebody like Brandon Webley has it his own way, comes out of pit lane, settles into a groove, and then punches on through with his 2 brand new sets of tyres, given that he was excluded from qualifying, and then works through.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
On a reliable pace, because tyres could be an issue here tonight.
Oh,
We could
totally.
see, guys in some serious tyre trouble given the
Towards the end of the race. No, and look, and we just coming back to Arrowsmith. Arrowsmith, out of the top 4 drivers, was the one that did the least amount of time on track in qualifying. So he has got more tyre than the 3 guys in front of him. And then if you want to go back a notch, Melling and Baker were out of the qualifying very early. Okay, so and then the next 2 on that list. So Perkins went out late as well, so he's got less tyre than a couple of the boys around him. I think Mossy was in pretty quick as well. So definitely a tyre strat night tonight, isn't it, mate?
Well, yeah, it is, but then, you read the comments, 777 Racing, Mossy for a splash and dash, you heard it here first.
Oh, look out.
Realistically, so you're asking for the tyre in these conditions to do 89 minutes, probably plus a lap, whatever.
Yep.
That's, there's obviously some research and development gone into that, and it's doable, but I don't know what, you'd want to basically go out and run to a number.
You definitely would. Look, the track is optimum here. It's round 8 at Barcelona for Asrnz's 2025 GT3 series, the penultimate round, ladies and gentlemen. A biggie next week at Bathurst, but we are here. Optimum track at Barcelona for round 8. The track temp is 36. We're just talking about tyres. These guys will be thinking all about it. We're just about to hit start here. We've got a green light, Vic Tan and Toon. We've got Fonido, Arrowsmith, Melling and Baker. Good, clean start. Very even start.
On the outside of Slambo there.
Slambo, very wide track this. Can he make it live there? If he's got the overlap, he can get into the next corner. Doesn't. But look in the background there. Baker and Melling, very close.
Yeah. Oh,
very close stuff.
Who was that just into the back of Baker there? That was Lee Perkins.
Yeah, I think, and Geordie Moss getting a bit of a wriggle from that too. He's getting swamped by, it looks like Jones on one side.
And Shields coming in there.
Shields on the other. Shields, he's up the back there. Oh, Mossy's vulnerable here actually at the hairpin.
Yeah. Yep.
Nash through.
Nash gets him through there. So that's an opportunity down there, turn 5. It's a good opportunity, and then they line up down the hills, very much single file down here.
So no,
line back up already.
Just get back up the front there, Perkins and Baker at it, J-Man.
Yeah.
So Perkins looks like, did he actually get past?
I think intermittently, and Moss loses another.
Yeah, because Thackeray's
Jones.
in front of Baker as well there, J-Man. So back a couple of bits there, and it looks like Mossy going backwards as well. Shieldsy. So Jones has passed, like you mentioned. Shields looking for a move. That's Enright just tucked in behind in it's the Texaco car, isn't it? The Mustang.
Yep.
Then Enright, Turner, Simpson, Grimmer, Webley starting from the back in the pit lane. Who else started from the pit lane?
Tony Spence, but he's
Tony
called
Spence.
it a night.
Okay.
And I tell you what, Phil Antoon was having a big look, and Stewie Arrowsmith's looking to take the long way round, and Shane...
He's going to do this. Oh, there might have been a little bit of paint exchange there. That was very close. Let's get a replay on that.
He's right in
He's right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that was very close. Just picking that up on the replay, that exchange between Fonido and Arrowsmith. We saw it at the end of lap 1 of the start of lap 2.
take a look at that. Just take a look, as they came off of turn 4. If they came off of turn 4, the inside line that Steve Melling was able to run, how tight he was able to run, and he didn't lose any margin on Stu Arrowsmith. So that interests me, the way that he's got that car set up, that he can hold such a tight line.
Mustang working nicely.
And stay with him. So that's interesting. Well, he's going to stay with him by way of fact of that thing's got a ton of horsepower in a straight line as well. So anything they may get to him through that phase there, he's going to catch back up, as we see him now under brakes, catch right back up to Stu Arrowsmith. Which will be down into turn 10. It's a good run through there. Now, going to watch Webley's progress. He's 7.2 seconds off the back of Uncle Joe. He'll start winding that in. He'll start winding this Mustang out. When he gets to the back of the trail, he'll get a little bit of draft. But interestingly enough, Shane Fodderdo, under pressure from Stu Arrowsmith, scored off by 1.5 seconds over Antoon and Shan. So that'll be interesting to see what those two giggers go and do up there. About that 44.6 plays 44.5, plays 45.3 Fodderdo. So those guys dropped into the 44s out the front already. Antoon's had a couple of big looks on Vic Chan down the big front straight. Hasn't been able to do anything with it. So I'll get a read on what the terminal speed is for the Porsche. 262 plays 271. So big straight line advantage for Antoon. If he can get off of turn 16 close enough, he will sail past that Porsche if he can do it. But it'll be all about, does he want to lead?
Cameras on Nash. Sandwich between Wally Baker and Damien Jones. We've got just in the background there, Nev Shields, all over the back of Mossy there. Just get a little look at that.
So this Mossy going backwards at the start of the race, I think he's lost. I think he has lost 2 positions since the start. It felt like more, but it is only 2 spots. Is this maybe Mossy driving this tyre to a number so that he can ensure that he does this splash and dash and maybe make some time over what would be a 32-second stationary if you're going to change the rubber?
Look, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Mossy, calculated driver here, as we just see Antoon past Chan. We're just going to pick up on a replay of this from the heli cam.
Ah, he is too. Sorry, I missed that.
So just running out on to that back straight. Oh, so Chan deep, unforced error down at the big braking area.
Yeah, we talk about 10, about being deep under brakes down there. It's just a tricky spot to pull the cars up.
So unfortunate for Chan. But unforced error there. Antoon just sneaking past Fodderdo and Arrowsmith as well, still at it in the background. I don't think that
Damien Jones, Timmy Nash.
That battle's going to go away anytime soon. So is that Jones passed?
Yeah, passed Timmy Nash down into turn 1. So he definitely had the run.
So big inside move here from Jones. He had he's side by side there for a while.
He was.
Still goes deep under brakes. Little bit of a corner tap on the way out. But nice move. 101 pass there from Jones.
Fastest car out on track, Davo, last lap round. Brandon Webley already got past Uncle Joe. He is effectively 21 seconds off the lead of this race and just punched a 1:44.5. So he is on the gas. Said he didn't have a lot of practice during the week, but man, that car is fast.
Yeah. So good clean air. Winding the Mustang up. Ready for battle. As he starts to move through the field, J-Man. That first half of the field always goes relatively smoothly, but the further they get towards the pointy end, the more difficult it gets. The more resistance they get.
Oh, yeah.
As we look over the rear wing of Daniel Jones' car. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. Chan hasn't let go of Antoon after
No,
that
definitely
car.
not.
I thought Antoon might have checked out, but he's not. And Arrowsmith's still hounding Shane Fodderdo. Looks like that BMW's got a couple of miles an hour.
Does.
That,
definitely when it's under the wing. And
269, 263.
And very handy under brakes if we just look at that vision there.
Oh, he's so close.
And again, just looks like he's got the drop, but look at the pull out of the corner from the Lambo. Just enough to keep him at bay. And
Only just.
only just keeps him out from underneath the wing there for that first few hundred metres of the straightaway there. Only a short straightaway there. A little bit longer this next one that comes up though, so Asrnz really trying to stay in touch there so that he can attack.
I think the BMW looks a little bit more comfortable. I've just seen
Well,
the
it does.
back end of the Lambo just twitching a little bit, so that Lambo very, very nervous. Shane does like to drive these things a little sideways and a little loose. In these current conditions, he probably doesn't want to get it too sideways at 36 degrees track. But yeah, they're staying in touch.
Definitely Nash past Jones, just picking up on the
Yeah,
replay
got
there.
it
Unforced error from Jones. Just runs him wide, and as does just behind him there. Lucky for Mossy not to lose a position to Shields there in the same corner. So all that going on. So very tricky stuff. It looked like Mossy might have had a little bit of focus of what was going on in front of him there. Pushed himself a little bit deep into the corner. Shields was right there to pounce. Lucky he didn't lose that position.
Asrnz close this time. He was 0.2 coming off, so he got a good run out of 16. He's really, really close now. Shane's already covering the inside. Stewie goes to the outside again. We saw this lap 1 and lap 2. Went to the outside. Shane negated it and had the rights to what was turn 3 up here, the long sweeping right-hander. Stewie didn't fall
How close? You can't get that Beamer much closer to the back of a
option
lane
here
again.
to dive down to the right here if he's close enough, but he doesn't. He goes out wide. Pressure Shane into braking deep. I think he needs to do this up. Try and stay close out of turn 9. Pressure Shane all the way up to turn 10, which is the point of the race chat you've called already a couple of times. We saw Jordan Moss outbreak himself.
I don't.
Vic Jan
Vic Jan
outbreak
do it.
himself.
I don't think out of 9. I don't think the Beamer gets out of 9 as well as it does some of the other corners here. We'll just watch this from the helicam here as they run up to 9 here. And the Lambo just tips in so nicely.
Yeah, he's just never going to be close enough like that.
Yeah, so definitely one to watch. BMW looking very, very healthy around the rest of the track though, J-Man.
Yeah, and looking in the background as well as we just see Webley, he's just rounded up Kenny Simpson in this last quarter of a lap to get up to P15. He's now 20.5 seconds off the lead of this race, so he's winding that back ever so slightly because he just banked a 1:44.7 versus Antoon and Chan's 45.1, 45.0. So if he keeps punching those numbers little by little, we'll see that margin come back, and if he can get somewhere towards that 40-minute mark and bring that back to a point where they change tyres. Remember, this guy's got a fresh set of tyres.
That's right.
So he's likely going to 50-50 this race.
Absolutely, we talked about it at the top of the stream here.
Aerosmith,
That
a little bit of contact. Turn 1, turn 2 again.
Nice work from those boys, side by side again. Asrnz looking for the outside, having to come back across there. Tap on the rear quarter of the Lamborghini. These guys are loving this stuff. A lot of mutual respect between these two guys.
Ooh,
Racing
Shane
for
just
two different.
losing the rear.
Again, a little bit slippery. A lot of mutual respect. Two different teams here. Still got Jones on Nash, so plenty to watch.
And Webley through on Turner now, so he's made another spot, P14.
So that was a quick one because Turner was still quite a ways up the road, so definitely looking quick in the Mustang is Brandon, as we would have expected, J-Man.
Well, it's going to be quick fire too, because once he gets to the back of Enright, Shields and Moss, they're relatively close together. They're only spread apart by around about 2 seconds, maybe 2.5 seconds for those 4 cars. So, you know, once he gets there, he'll look to start laying some moves on, and you better believe once he gets there, he will, because if he's got the pace to catch them, I reckon he's got the pace to get past them.
Yeah, definitely. Just the notable there, the Damien Jones, Timmy Nash, Damien Jones, Jordan Moss battle there. Shieldsy just dropped off the back of that a little bit. Is starting to look a little bit vulnerable to Aaron there in the Texaco Mustang. We'll get out of the front of the Mustang here. Not a bad sounding car, this. running in behind Shieldsy there. So a battle continues between the Mustang and the Aston of Shields. Perkins on the back of Thackeray.
Yeah, those two have been closing up little by little over the last couple of laps, and just want a big shout out too for the job that Steve Melling's doing. I was just looking at his lap times. Last lap 3 was his best, 45.317, versus Aerosmith and Fotto ahead of him, 45.9s. So those two engaged in the battles, just really just encouraging Steve-O to just stay in touch with that. And look, he won't be out overdriving this car on his own around about 1.8 odd seconds behind. He'll be just right, but look how close Aerosmith is now.
He is
coming up through 9.
And this is the corner. This is one of the corners that he is not generally dominant in. But like you mentioned, J-Man, look, if the little coming together between these two, that is the Steve Melling Valvoline Mustang right behind these two guys. Like I said, more than likely driving it to a number, just keeping it clean, staying focused. And look, he can't do any better than that with this going on in front of him. Still a massive battle going on behind him with Tim Nash, Damien Jones, Jordan Moss. And they're not that far behind. Eddie Thackeray, Lee Perkins and Wally Baker just tucked in between those two groups. A little bit...
Jones close to Nash, out of 16 this time. What can the Aston do down here on the Ferrari? What's the difference in terms of...
Well, we saw him slip past
Jones
earlier, so...
Speed. Nash is 266, so here we go. Here's a move coming. Going to fire it down the inside. Nash will have an opportunity to run the high line. Jones just blocks it, parks the car in the middle of the apex, in the middle of the corner.
Oh,
and
that's Baker coming back on track. Oh, that's Mossy in the background.
Caught Mossy out, and he's just got a tank slapper on trying to avoid that. There was no contact made. However, he has come unstuck during that, and that has seen Mossy already slip back to P16. He was doing such a good job in that battle. And Webley now on the back of Enright. We talked about him getting to this pack, and you look at it. Enright, Shields, Baker, Nash, Jones, all
and where's Webley?
in the eye line. He's right on the back of them.
He's right on the back of this mid-pack here. And with some outstanding pace. Watch that space. We'll try and keep an eye on that. We've still got Timmy Nash and Damien Jones going at it, J-Man. These guys... Here we go, Nash.
Look at the door that
at 10.
Jones just left open there. He
gave him the space.
Mate, it was an invitation.
Bring it on. I've got this. So yeah, nice work, Nash. Take a little bit of back there.
Webley inside move here on Enright's going to do it before the chicane. Does it down the inside, beautifully constructed. I mentioned once he got there, he'll start putting some moves on. So watch the space.
Gareth Smith, here we go, J-Man. It's the inside line this time.
He's got it down there.
He's got to have had it.
Can he pull it up? Parks the car in the middle. We saw that just a lap ago from Damien Jones.
Now just watch this. The Lamborghini looks a little bit dominant around the back part of the circuit here.
Yep.
So we will see Fotto push back a little bit. Trying to force that area. I think that was inevitable, and I think Shane knew that was always going to come.
Yeah. And we talked to Stewie at the top of the broadcast, and he talked about the importance of this potential third in the championship, and the guy that he needs to battle for it with is just up the road in Vic Chan. Now, he's 2.6 seconds up the road, so just remember that number, 2.6 seconds. What can Stewie do about that? He's already made a little bit of margin. You talked about Shane being strong up through there, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah,
he's not close enough now, and this is kind of Stewie's strong suit now.
Yeah, so this
coming down here.
This back sector, BMW looking really good, and particularly down through the first and mid sectors as well. So Webley on Shields already, J-Man, up to turn 10. Oh, how could you? It just it just blasts up beside you with clearly, you know, twice as much pace. it's not worth fighting, is it?
No. So I'll give you an update on that number as they cross the line. Remember, I
Actually-
said 2.6 seconds was the margin. Aerosmith Chan, that is now 1.9.
We will just quickly get out of the front of Brandon Webley's car for a lap here as he starts to chase down
Good chance to visit the fridge.
Mr. Wally Baker. Yes, exactly. As we get through this hot lap with Brandon Webley, we see sneaking past Wally Baker in the process there, ladies and gentlemen, and moving forward quickly in the Mustang after starting from the pits here.
Yeah, and already made it to the 10. I talked about probably the magic number being, 40 minutes to 60 minutes to try and get himself in the hunt. He's already up in the 10. It's going to get harder. However, the static number has gone back to about 21.5 seconds to the lead of this race, which is about where it was when I first picked up on him once he started going through the field. So he's not really gaining or losing anything to Phil Antoon.
On Antoon, yeah, that's right.
However, the margin, probably looking at, given the fact that Antoon's got 4 seconds over Vic Chan, who has got a very, very inspired Stu Aerosmith after passing Shane Fodderdo, starting to range in on him. That margin now 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, so what you're saying is Webley's catching all of the field except for Antoon. And doing a standout job of it, as we have come to expect as well, J-Man. Yeah, and ranging up. Oh, who is the next victim? Timmy Nash.
And his spot though, Webley's spot is between out of turn 12 to 13, so before the chicane. So he gets a beautiful line through the right-hander of turn 12. So he'll come down here. He put a lot of pressure on Timmy Nash into this really, really tricky deep braking zone into 10, and then he works his way up through 11, 12. He'll get the car tight down through the inside of 12. So as we come up through here, they'll take this next left. He'll get the car really tight into 12 here. Takes a lot of curb there, and then he'll tuck the car back down. Oh, he had to check up under brakes, the middle of the corner there. And this is his spot. He'd go down the inside there before turn 13. Not close enough this time. But that Mustang has got a ton of straight lines, so if he can get himself close out of 16, he'll use every bit of that 271 kilometre an hour top speed and see if he can put a bit of pressure on Nash down to 1. Here he comes up underneath the wing. Ranging up. Does he shoot it down the inside? You betcha.
Oh,
He leaves it to the last second. Can he pull it up?
Can he pull that thing up?
Yeah, he can. And he actually clicked the top speed there of 272. So that's what that draft was worth.
Yeah, and you can just see the closing speed just in that last car length over the rear wing of Timmy Nash's Ferrari. I wonder whether Nash might have just rolled out of that and just went, yeah, no, it's all yours, brother. But you clear advantage from the Mustang in a straight line there. And is immediately on the back of Damien Jones, J-Man.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. He's right there.
Yeah, pretty well. Like, it's literally a couple of corners. And the Aston is, again, the next victim. And Webley, very super aggressive through 7 and 8.
He uses every bit of the track and some, so he's really just... And look how he just parked the car just out far enough in the mirrors, and he sends it down there. Jones doesn't want any part of it.
It's not his fight, is it? It's not his race.
Fight. No, a big IQ there, just to let that one go and just keep battling it. Clearly, Jones wants to battle out Nash, Shields, Baker and co. So Webley now P8, starting from the back of this field. Now that was an easy pass, and that bodes well for, I guess, the long run, to see how this thing plays out, to how deep he can get into this field.
Well, that's right. You know, just the unhindered progress, isn't it? We've seen not everyone, but most of the boys just look. They know that's not their fight, and they've let that Mustang sneak on past with relative ease. And look, that will aid. What time are we looking at? Still that 21 odd seconds, isn't it, J-Man, to the leader? But
yeah, so it's definitely static there, but you know, as the margin grows between Antoon and Chan, you can see that he's probably definitely making inroads into the likes of the podium guys, Foddo, Arrowsmith, Chan. Definitely on the cards in the long game, given that he has got a brand new set of tyres to go out for phase 2 of this race. So cut this thing in half, and oh, we've seen a pass there. So that was Baker, maybe an unforced error there, or something's gone on. Baker has gone backwards. Moss has just taken Simpson. It's a little bit of movement towards the back of the field. So I think Baker lost a couple, might have lost one to Shieldsy and one to Enright there. Chan's responded also too, Davo. He has got that margin out to around 2 seconds over Arrowsmith. So something just, yeah, Stewie's progress a little bit hindered there. Maybe he's just settled in and just decided that it wasn't worth pressing the tyre that hard this early. As you just, yeah, picked up on that little bit of a run there. And Simpson was, something had gone on there with Simpson. He was a little bit wide offline, and I think that allowed Mossy just to sweep through nice and easy. Now, Tim Nash, Damien Jones, that battle's still going on, and those guys, I'd like to know actually how many times they've traded positions in this race. It would definitely be 2 or 3 already. I don't think it's done by any stretch. Sure if you've got comms at all, Davo, but anyway, we'll press on. Shieldsy, yeah, but the gaps are scattered. Antoon now leading the race over Chan by 3.3,
yep.
2.1 seconds further back as Stu Arrowsmith, 1.7 back to Foddo, Melling 5.2 back, doing a good job, P5 there. Thackeray, quiet race for Thackeray's had a lot of fresh air, had a little bit of pressure earlier on from Lee Perkins in the 33 Ferrari. However, he's got just under 2 seconds down the road to him now. And then we have this Webley charge, currently P8. It's got a bit of margin to make. It's around the 6 second mark up the road to Perkins. And I guess once he gets to Perkins, there'll be an opportunity for another quick couple there between Perkins and Thackeray if he can get there within time and have a crack. And then obviously Melling's a little bit further up the road, so it looks positive to go.
Yep.
I still see that car as a potential podium car.
Yeah, and the charge from Webley is considerable, isn't it, J-Man? Moving forward rapidly, you know, but once he gets to Perkins and from then onwards, it will only get harder, won't it? So as we look over the rear wing of Damien Jones, we did see a couple of bit of movement in the field there in the replay a little bit earlier on. J-Man calling, oh God, my mic playing up again tonight. But yeah, these guys at it.
It's going to send it down the inside. Turner actually made that relatively easy. Just stay
Didn't he, what?
on the high line
Yep.
and just look, shoot down there, mate. I'm battling Ken Simpson. Don't want to be hindered. So looking at the numbers, last lap round, Webley 45.397. Antoon 45.347. Chan 5.6. 5.1 for Aerosmith. 5.6 for Florido. 6.3 for Melling. 6.7 for Perkins. 5.7. Oh, sorry, 5.7 for Perkins. 5.3 as I mentioned for Webley. Jones 6.1. Nash 6.2. So those guys, that is why they're so close. They mirror each other's pace.
Yep.
Temperature wise, still 29 ambient, 36 track. That's not going to change anytime soon at 25 to 4 in the afternoon. Wonder whether we get a little bit further on, maybe towards the hour of 4 o'clock, whether that gets any better, maybe by a degree a couple. So it might be good to run this tie set for as long as they can before they get out on another one. And the opportunity, as we saw on the chat box there, for guys to maybe look for the splash and dash. I wonder what Mossy's thinking about that now, whether that's forced him into that a little bit further, given that he had that half spin. It's going to hurt the tyre, but does he really back himself on that splash and dash? At the start, but Nash starting to put another wiggle from Jones, so it's a little bit ominous now that the rear's maybe falling off the back of that Aston a little bit at the moment. It's losing a little bit of balance, and
Noticeably, isn't it?
Rear mounted, that mid-rear Ferrari just starting to look like the balance is coming to it now. Look at the lap times here from Chan. 45.3 plays a 45.2. It just looked like Stewie made a little bit of margin back there. 1.5 seconds behind. He's pulled a 2.8 now on Florido. Webley, I talked about that margin being 6 seconds to get up the road. Easy down the big front straight, last step around, but finds himself there or thereabouts, and Nash still hounding the back of Jones as well.
Yeah, Turner on Moss there as well, J-Man. Battle continuing there as the top end of the field is sort of spread a little. But let's all cross our fingers that my mic stays connected for more than about 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Hit us up with a like if that's what you'd like to happen, or maybe you wouldn't. It's like, maybe I talk too much. But anyway, yes, Moss with Turner hot in tow, and like J-Man was just calling, Jones and Nash battle continues on. Actually, and Baker. Now Baker's had an up and down race tonight. Seen that car off track a couple of times, but yeah, still in the fight there, holding down 13th at the moment. Eddie Thackeray starting to range up on the back of Melling. Now Melling has just been in a real sweet spot, hasn't he, J-Man, with that lead pack moving away from him in front, and he chased that pack for quite a few laps, probably about 20 minutes or half an hour before they got away from him. So he's just been in clean air. He's just had a good, clean run, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, he's hit good numbers. You know, we saw him there. He was quite comfortable running in the 45s. He's currently running in the mid 46s at the moment. Obviously, everybody's backed out of it a fair bit. There's not really anybody in the 44 club anymore. Webley's probably done the best job last that round, 45.5. So, you know, like he's just done a good job of, I think, managing these tyres. That thing's a very, very quick car as well in a straight line. So he's probably playing to its strengths as well. But he, you know, I've watched him for a couple of laps just in the last couple, and he's driving the thing super, super straight. As we just mentioned earlier, you know, we saw Jones starting to get a little bit tail happy. I thought Fotado in the early phase with the battle with Stu Arrowsmith, I thought that would be compounding with interest, the way that thing was slipping around in the rear. That wasn't probably going to get better to balance that car had he kept driving it like, you know, like that. And that's probably just what's underneath him was probably going to get worse. So, but on the other hand, I think Melling's car just looks super, super stable. Looks like he's got the thing working really, really well. Don't see it too sideways anywhere. And he's just driving it to a good number. So it's, you know, it's a good job from Steve Melling.
Yes, he will be ever aware of Thackeray and Perkins starting to chase him down, and I think that is where that is. So you can see back
off now.
Clearly see back a shot there. The third car back from Melling is Brandon Webley in the Mustang. So coming up speedily on those guys. Melling staying focused. You would expect. Look, what do we got? We got 54 odd minutes to go in this race. You would expect Webley to get past Melling, J-Man?
I think the long play all going well. Yeah, I think that's probably, you know, that's not been too optimistic at this point. I think he's definitely a good option for a P5. And then there's quite the margin. You know, talk about another 9.5 odd seconds up the road to Fotado. I still believe there's still a lot of things to play out in this. I think we may see some big upsets with tyres here, especially if guys go to splash and dash it. They could run into some.
Well, Mossie's already been in.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what did Mossy do? Okay, so he did an 11 seconds, so it was literally a splash and dash for Mossy. So he backed himself on that strategy.
Yeah, well, there you go. And so what also we need to keep an eye on is the gap between Chan and Arrowsmith, J-Man. Which
it is closing.
It twos and froze a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But just visibly, you can see Arrowsmith getting ever so close, pushing, leaving Fotado behind. The gap between Arrowsmith and Chan is a lot tighter than it is from Arrowsmith to Fotado now. Probably more than triple the distance between those gaps, and ever closing. J-Man, I think we see as well, just quickly in my data here, we've got Aaron Enright in the pits and Joe Grimmer as well.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating one. Stu Arrowsmith at the moment, 864 points over Vic Chan's 803, obviously with the absence of Matty Nipris as well.
Yes.
So when we see this, Arrowsmith knows what's required over the next 2 rounds, this endurance round and then the triple header, the super sprint at Bathurst next week, the finale. So he knows what's involved, and he knows that with Matty Nipris basically out of the series now, that this is, a potential podium, an overall podium for what would be his first classification for a pro driver in the GT3 series. Yep. So you got to remember Stu Arrowsmith only stepped up to this category this year.
This season. Yes.
This season, and led a good part of it. He had a fantastic second in race 1, round 1. Then he backed it up with a first, got to round 2, he backed it up with a 4th, 13th and a 3rd, and then he's back into the winning circle at the endurance race at Nürburgring. Nordschleife. Yeah, he did a fantastic job there. Goes 5-7 at the Watkins Glen, relatively good round, but less than his standard from what he'd completed earlier. And then he backs up a double podium at Coda, a couple of 3rds, and then we saw him with a couple of did not starts, and then a DNF, and then a did not start at Nürburgring. So we saw Stewie away for a couple of weeks, and you know, look, he's still in a commanding position to take a podium.
Definitely,
so
definitely.
It's a cool story. We go on about it, but it is a cool story because he stepped up, and these guys that he's racing against, the likes of Vic Chan, Antoon and Co, Fodado, they are classy drivers. So he's amongst some elite company up there.
Absolutely.
Hey, Greenie, good to see you tuning in. Hope you're drinking some cold Fiji bitters, mate, and enjoying the stream. It's good to have you tuning in, mate. It's an absolute rip of a race. It's hot out there. And, yes, plenty going on as we see some margins starting to crush. I just saw, for the first time, it drop underneath a second for Aerosmith to Chan. Chan got a little bit of traffic up ahead of him. Thackeray now half a second away from Steve Melling. Big look, dives down into 10, outbreaks himself as well. So Webley now on the back of Perkins. So it's all just got really reinvigorated in the last 30 seconds to a minute, Davo.
Oh, absolutely. And notably, Aerosmith, as soon as he caught Chan, into the pits, J-Man.
Yep. Get that fresh rubber on. So he'd done all the work.
Done all the work, and this is where we just I wonder whether he was on that qualifying tyre, J-Man, and because he's a little bit short of halfway, I think there. Yes, so and now he'll have a good sticker set of tyres to roll out onto for the second half of this race, and really just push even harder. So, but we will soon find out. So
who was that at the end of pit lane there? I saw. It's Uncle Joe. Okay, so he's just letting the traffic go.
Aerosmith and Melling in the pits.
Yeah, get a read on that. Give you an option on what they're doing. So I can tell you now, Aerosmith's already up to 26, 27 seconds. So you'll be looking for a 31, 32 second stop here. He goes 32. So he's tick that box. Make sure he gets out the lane with no red penalties. No penalties there. He's away. He's into it. Pretty good at the 1% stuff here. Now Melling, he's also on the jacks. 32 second stop as well. So he's done the business there.
Webley past Perkins there just quietly. So Thackeray must have snuck past Perkins as well. Oh no, Perkins was behind Thackeray. So yeah, Perkins getting out of the road there. Probably just run a little bit deep, but allowing Webley to sneak past there so he can just focus on his fight with Thackeray there, J-Man. Couple of pit stops. The battles continue.
What does Chan do? Now Chan stays out. He doesn't buy into the Aerosmith pit strategy. He's just staying out there. And
feeling comfy. He's obviously feeling comfy in the V-dub on the tyre it's on at the moment. Hitting his marks. Is that Fodado into the pits, J-Man?
Sure is. So Shano is going in. I'm not sure whether this is a potential ploy to cover off maybe
Mr. Aerosmith. Or cover off Chan. Oh, no.
I think it's Webley.
Oh, Webley. Oh, I think you're right.
Webley's doing here.
Of course, of course. Hard charging Webley with 2 sets of sticker tyres for the race. The only person to have that, actually. The only other person that, well, it was going to be
Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe had a couple of sets. He didn't go out. So.
Oh, didn't he? Okay.
No, and the other one was Tony Spence.
Tony Spence, that's right. That's right. There was 3 of them. Tony Spence not a starter here tonight. So
Fodado, how long was he in the pits? 32 seconds, 104. Now that's an interesting number. We saw this last week. So Melling and Fodado both recorded the same stationary time on the jacks as Aerosmith with 32 seconds. However, they went across out of the lane a total transit time of 104, whereas Stewie Aerosmith was 103.
Yeah.
So
it's that entry, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the entry. It's all about how quickly they get it to 50, not under. So he's done a good job there, Stewie. There's a second gain there already over Fodado, which he already was well and truly ahead of, but just negates any late charges, really. Webley now, he's on the back back of Thackeray. What does he do here, knowing that he's got another fresh set of tyres? Carries on. 45.3. Chan, last lap, 45.9. It's a tenth slower than the one before. I'm just conscious of that. I want to see what sort of times. Oh, Nash into the pits now. That takes him out of that battle, which was Damien Jones. So I want to get a read on Stu Aerosmith. He'd be looking to go better than 45.9s to make margin. We saw him right on the back of Chan when he went in, so it's going to be a race down pit road. And who else is that? That is Kenny Simpson in the lane also.
Yeah, so Simpson, I think, was getting held up by someone
Turner.
there. Might have been. Yep.
Yep.
Ferrari.
He's in
Yep.
the battle with Phil, yep. So a lot of 32-second stops there. We see Aerosmith 32, Clotado 32, Melling 32, Nash was a 32, Enright's is a little snaggy 35. Uncle Joe was in there for just over 5 minutes. I think he went for some KFC.
Oh, look at this pass from Webley on Thackeray. They're still side by side. They've been side by side through 10, 11, 12. This is 13.
Oh, beautiful. Gets it done. Took a long time.
And we'll just pick up on a little bit of replay of that. Just have a look at this as they come down into 10 here. Thackeray, good line. Runs a little deep onto the ripple strip there. Just gives enough space. Webley up on the inside. Holds the outside. Plenty of front end on that Mustang. Through the double apex into this right-hander. Still holds the outside. Thackeray goes, okay, you can have it.
Yeah. Puts Webley provisionally unpit stopped in the lead of this race too.
Oh, there you go. There you go. As we see Antoon and Chan in the pits. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, so watch the space with Chan now. He's heading up towards 30 seconds. I need to see what the number is. Oh, and he does a 31. When you want to do it,
Oh,
he'll
here we
do
go.
it.
Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Look
He's
at how
literally
close.
the only guy that pulls out 31 seconds tyre
Stops. Yeah. How do you even do that?
Look at Aerosmith. He's got the draft. He's going to be super close, but Chan's going to hang on here. Only just. But that will come down to that 31-second stop over a 32.
Oh, you know it. You know it. And look at this. Full attack from Stu Aerosmith.
Yeah, he's right there.
And Antoon. And so the gain that Chan made also put him a little bit closer to Antoon. Look at the attack. It is on. This will give a chance for Phil to get away.
So it's closed up. It's definitely closed up.
The whole thing's tightened up, yeah.
What was Antoon's stop? Because it was a lot further ahead than that. So he was a 35-second stop.
There you go.
It was 35.
So 4 seconds
stop.
he lost.
Yep.
Yes, 4 seconds he lost to Chan.
So look how this thing's tightened up with 43 minutes to go.
And look how aggressive the BMW looks. It just looks like it's got so much grip, and Aerosmith really able to wrestle it into the corners. Looks like he can just about put it wherever he likes. Chan will struggle with that attack, I suspect. In the Porsche, something one of the brands he's not familiar with, or he's becoming familiar with, and probably not liking. But yes, working his way through the series in the Porsche here. Antoon to chase, and Stu Aerosmith to defend.
Nash Moss, that is tight. There's a bit of side by side there. But yeah, Aerosmith with all the work to do. That's the guy he wants to be. And he's right in touch. Similar. Well, we're not sure. Stewie only ran one lap in qualifying. It'd be interesting to know which set of tyres Vic Chan's on. One would think that he would have kept his best for last.
Yes, you would expect so, wouldn't
what we got going on here? Turner. Okay, so Fotto.
Nash on Moss, having a big look. And continues to.
Oh, he does.
Moss having to cover a little bit there. Just making that Merc a little bit wider than he probably wants to. Working hard. To hold down that 13th position. We still might have a couple of pit stops to go, don't we? Who hasn't pitted?
Yeah, we've got Webley.
Webley hasn't pitted.
Yeah, he's just pulling up on the jacks. So this is a critical stop for Webley for his progress. He'll be looking to try and come out somewhere, I believe, around Steve Melling. Shane Fotto. Where is Shane? He's just ahead of Phil Turner, P10.
Warren Baker also there in the pit lane. J-Man, as we just see. Oh, again, Nash. On Moss. Really attacking down into 10 there.
Needed to be faster than that. 35 seconds not going to help his cause when it comes to Steve Melling.
Who's he in there with? Who's in there? Baker.
Baker,
yep. Okay, see where we go. Webley out and in front of that looks like, is that the Damien Jones car?
It is. Oh. No, that's Uncle Joe, sorry.
Okay, yep.
Yep, no, Jones is well up the field. Hasn't
unpitted.
Yeah, hasn't made a stop yet. So Thackeray, Perkins, Jones, Shields have not made a stop. Turner hasn't stopped.
Thackeray into the pits just quietly.
There you go.
Yeah, and so yeah, we were just talking. Lee Perkins holding down the lead of the race at the moment provisionally, unpitted. Thackeray into the pits. Jones passed. Never Shields in the pits as well, Joe.
How many friends you got out there, you reckon, when you're a 777 racer and you're looking at the two giggers up the road, you're chasing one of them for a potential podium. The other guy, he's got one hand on the trophy at the moment. Does Antoon yield this top spot in this endurance race, a double point round to Vic Chan if he's close enough at the end of this thing to try and help your fellow gigger secure a podium? What does it look like?
What does it look like? Will it even evolve? It's still over 38 minutes of racing yet to go. J-Man, thanks to the likes of MatchFit Entertainment who are broadcasting to you live here tonight, and of course Race Command on board as always at Asrnz. This is round 8. We are at Barcelona in Asrnz 2025 GT3 series. Webley working hard
out in front of Webley, but Webley's going to go straight to the inside.
Here we go.
And just sweep through on a hot tyre.
So nice work. He needed to do that, didn't he? He needed to wrap that up quickly. We still got Chan.
Nash, Moss.
Chan not that far off Antoon, J-Man. And this is like, these guys are stopped. You just wonder which tyre they're on. We know Chan stayed out in qualifying long. Antoon stayed out in qualifying long. And like I mentioned before the beginning of the race, one who didn't stay out long was Stu Arrowsmith. But what did you say? One lap. One flying lap. So look at where he is now.
Jones in the lane too, Davo. So this is one to watch because he was in a pretty spirited battle with Nash. Nash did a 32-second stop.
Now Nash on the tail of Moss at the moment.
Yeah, Moss did the 11-second splash and dash. So Jones is going to fall right amongst this. Potentially, if he gets the numbers right, he'll be just in front. However, he's got to do the hard work in the pits. Look at Nash ranging up on the inside, outside here.
So we've got to watch Jones. He should come out near nearabouts this battle, shouldn't he, J-Man?
Yeah, Uncle Joe gets a drive-through. I believe that'll be for track infringement limits. Look at Nash here. Now, where is Jones? He needs to be looking to get off the tracks. He is. Here comes Moss. Here comes Nash out of the final corner. Jones is on the gas. He's off the limiter. He's accelerating. Here they come. I think he's going to cover these guys off down to turn 1. And he needed to.
Watch this braking battle here between Nash and Moss. Nash stays out of it, obviously, with Jones just re-entering the race there from the pit lane. Thought better of it. And look at Shields, J-Man. He's just tucked right in there behind all that. Not too far behind. And again, the mid-pack heats up here at Asrnz. Look at these guys go.
Well, the top 3, after a little over 53 minutes, separated by absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably 2 seconds outright, maybe 1.8 seconds splits the top 3 in this race, heading towards the hour mark, which is pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, led by
Nash,
look. Well,
Nash,
we do
Nash on the outside.
We do have Phil Antoon. Yes, Nash on the outside. Can he make that stick? No contact. Oh, maybe a little bit of a paint exchange.
A little bit of a rub.
And they sneak through that little awkward part of the track. That was awesome.
It was damage to his car and his endeavours to get to the back of this little battle here. So this will be good for Shieldsy.
Was holding down the provisional lead of the race there, unpitted. We'll put Antoon back in the lead with Chan, Arrowsmith, and Chan and Arrowsmith. What's that? Second and third provisionally, or yes, pretty well. And Frodo in fourth. So that will shuffle pretty quickly there. And those boys so close. See that board just change up very quickly there. You can see all those guys clearly in camera shot. And Frodo out in the distance in the background there.
Yeah, and he's quite a margin behind them. They've certainly stepped
and
away.
And Melling just hanging in
Lambert
fifth.
Just hasn't had the pace.
No, it hasn't. Webley now hunting, said Steve Melling, J-Man. 32 odd minutes to go. Webley on the chase. We expected to see him, you've mentioned it a couple of times, maybe in that fifth position.
Look at Shields now, mate. Right on the back of Nash, who's back on the back of Mossy. Shields is coming. He's got pace.
Oh, yeah. Yep. These guys fighting in front. It's allowed him to close that gap through this first little complex of corners here. Always exciting.
Oh, look at this. There's an inside run here. Holds it down.
Can he hold it there?
I like the option. It could be still an option here. Up for turn 4.
Oh, goes in deep.
In there a little bit too deep. Tags the back at Nashy.
Look like he might have even actually just nicked the back of Mossy there.
Yep. So that just settles down that little pack for a minute.
Yeah, for a minute. You watch that just gather back together in the next 30 odd minutes, J-Man, as those guys sort of at. No positional changes there, mind you, either. So,
yep.
Guys, they all come out unscathed, all pointing in the right direction.
Webley right winding in on Steve Melling now. So a couple of Mustangs going to be in close proximity on track here very, very shortly. He's got that margin down to a second. So Uncle Joe just steps out the way. Actually, talk about Uncle Joe. He obviously just been in recently to clear that drive through.
Yes. Yeah, I think he did last lap, maybe pretty well straight away.
Yep. But Webley starts a slap a second off of the back of the Valvoline Mustang of Steve Melling. So just watch this here and see where he makes time. Quite different entry exits to turn 3. Steve-O opted for the inside-outside line. Webley going for outside-inside. Ranger's up very, very close under brakes. That second margin's gone. He's on him through the middle of 4.
And up to the hairpin, Melling steps aside and lets Brandon through. Tags on the back.
8.9 seconds to try and make up the road to Whānau. Can he do that to get to P4? I don't think now,
half an hour, 30 minutes.
That there's a podium left in it.
But is there a 4th position in it?
Yeah, look, I think there's potential there. I think Shane's car just doesn't have the outright pace of that Mustang at the moment. No.
So field spread somewhat at the pointy end. Antoon, Chan and Arrowsmith have spread out a little there. Pretty equally, actually, too, J-Man. They got really close there 3 or so laps ago. They were very tight after Perkins' pit stop. But, yeah, just spread out a little bit there, just finding that little bit of space. And finding out where those tyres want to be, whether they be new or used. And these are things we don't know. We are guessing.
Yeah, look, I still think there's a sting in the tail of this thing left to go. We've seen it time and time again. This is the calm before the storm. Just under half an hour to go.
And it'll go quick.
We know historically we'll get to the back probably 7 minutes and this thing will be just an absolute pressure pot. It'll turn up the heat. And Aaron Enright cops himself a drive-through, so that'll be track infringements there. So he'll be gutted about that. He's in a pretty good battle with Baker and Shields and co. Now, I do see a car in the pits at the moment. It's actually Uncle Joe. Just come in. Frequent flyer through the pits tonight is Uncle Joe. But as you mentioned, Antoon, 2.5 seconds over Chan, 2.5 back to Arrowsmith, 14 seconds back to Whānau, 7.2 Webley to Whānau. That was around 9. So he's already making margin on there. 45.8 plays a 44.7.
Yes, that little gap there, Webley to Whānau, had shrunk somewhat. Yeah, I think the last time I looked, it was about 8.7 or something as well. So yes, shrinking very rapidly. He will see it. We will see it. You will see it visually soon enough as
back to Moss.
As we can see, the cameras get back on Jordan Moss and Timmy Nash, and Nash has well and truly caught back up. Who was missing there? Actually, it's Neb Shields was the other one just tangled up in that. He might just need another lap or so. I'm sure he'll be back on the back of this as well, as you can see him there, back a shot. So Shields, Tim Nash and Jordan Moss in 10th position. Geordie will be pretty keen to hang on to that top 10, J-Man. But have a look at the run from the Ferrari here off the final corner there. Wow.
Yeah, now Mossy on this very much pre-loved set of tyres now, because he opted for the splash and dash. So he's opted for these things to go the full way. Look, can Nash go around the outside? We've seen them here before. Little bit of,
guys, it's changing.
Little bit of a touch-up.
Just a bit of a smidge of paint here and there. It's only on the extremities, you know, wing mirrors, door handles, sort of stuff.
Yeah, stuff you don't need.
But here we go. And it all the way up under the bridge into, and Moss going in deep.
Over-under here.
And he's going to get rid of that overlap. Is that Mossy round? Oh, that was so close. Shields all over.
They run down the hill here. So this will be down through.
Hey, what's Shields here?
Mossy, I think, has already run out of tyres and he's still got 26 minutes to go. So those are just not going to feel great.
So just getting a bit of vision on the replay here out of the Shields car here. Watching all this unfold in front of him.
Oh, look at it just let go.
Yeah, and then forces him into the hairpin here. Doesn't quite get the overlap as they get down into the kink here. Into 7 and 8. 6 and 7, should I say? And wow, what an exchange! Those guys, all those boys have been at it for more than half the race so far.
Sorry,
No.
mate. Just picked up on Webley. Just dropped back into the 43s. So that's 3.7 seconds to Fodado now. Fodado ran a 45.9, so almost a 46.
And we can see them in camera shot, J-Man. Clearly in the same camera shot now. And Shane will see that as well. Not only the numbers, but he'll see them in the mirror, won't he?
Yeah, but part of that is actually Shane also dropping back a little bit. Like if I picked up the margin from Fodado to Aerosmith early on was 14.2 seconds. It's now 16.2. So just the pace really falling out of that Lambo at the back end as well. Is that come back to how many qualifying laps that those guys did? And, you know, we're seeing that tyre potentially four laps older.
You gotta put it into the equation. I really do think you do. So
Shields, boss.
Shields again. Same spot.
He just can't get it down there, but he's going to put pressure on him. He's going to force Mossy into something here if he just keeps the blowtorch on, because Mossy doesn't have a lot to work with in the way of tyres.
No, and yeah, the more pressure, the more chance of that little mistake.
Here's a run.
Oh, the Merc's got the punch though, J-Man, in a straight line.
It does.
And you see him pull it up there, puts it right in the middle of the track. Trying to make sure that thing, not over-braking it anywhere, not trying to push it too far to the wide as you see him just get right over the ripple strip there. Moss.
You got the lights ablaze too.
Yeah, really work. I think Mossy really working hard to keep that thing pointing in the right direction there as smoothly as he is. So top effort actually. That's the closest couple of cars on track at the moment, and these guys working hard.
Yeah, it bodes well for Shieldsy because Nash is just up the road as well. Another 2.7, so that's not done either. If he can dispatch Mossy here and eyes forward, I think the car does look good. Shieldsy's driving it beautifully. Here we go. Nice tight line there. Mossy was big under brakes down here a couple of laps ago. Outbroke himself, and that's what gave Shieldsy an opportunity to go down. Well, it was actually Nash that actually got it done with the over-under. Perkins now, he's starting to really range up on the back of Thackeray. Now, these guys have been in proximity the whole race, albeit there's been a bit of an air gap between them. They've basically been, one's been looking in the mirror at the other, and the other one's been looking at the part number on the rear spoiler.
Yeah, or vice versa. That's right. Yeah, they do. It has toed and froed a little with the boys. Not always super close together, but we have.
Welcome aboard, Firthy. Good to have you tuning in, buddy. Absolute scorcher of a race here. Hopefully your weather as the sun sets there is as good.
Shields continues to work over Jordan Mossy. Like we mentioned, not a lot to work with rubber-wise. We suspect, given the pit stop strategy we saw him take. So, yeah, working hard to keep that Merc in check. And Shields, I think, can smell the blood. Perkins, like you mentioned, J-Man, starting to range up on the back of Thackeray as well. Perkins always, he's looked speedy this season.
Also Webley now within a second of Fodado, so that'll be that top 4 spot.
Look, well, that's going to range up very quickly. We will get it on that. It's actually dropped under a second in just a quick moment there.
Shields.
Can he get it done?
Over under.
It's that same corner. He just gets up under it, all up in his grill, doesn't he, here? And he's going the outside, and look at Moss again having to defend.
Shields well up on the curb there. Actually helped the car rotate, but maybe over-rotate a little bit. So, oh, and who's that? Okay, Uncle Joe just in the infield. I just picked up on Perkins Thackeray because that's tightened up. And, yeah, I just saw Uncle Joe there. Now,
so a lot going on with Webley still gaining on Faraday, like literally by the second. The tenths are diminishing. Faraday now in full defensive mode, J-Man. Let's get out of the back of the Faraday Lamborghini. Webley, a masterclass here tonight from the back of the from the pit lane.
Oh, Faraday gets it all crossed up.
Oh, terribly.
Into turn 4. Wags the tail for Webley.
Get a quick replay
It's
on
a little
that.
loose on the way out as well, so those tyres starting to really...
Yeah, so just get up on that inside ripple strip there, J-Man, unsettle the car, and look, if you don't have a lot of rubber underneath you, so easily done as we watch the boys run up to 9 over this crest. Very awkward. Perkins Factory at it as well. They're not actually too far behind those boys, but we will stick with this Faraday Webley battle. This is for 4th position. Faraday very deep into 10, and again that signature fast run that Webley looks for up into this back complex of corners. Just shut down by Faraday. Covered the line. Webley having to check, and we'll have to work it out of the final corner here, and if he gets the turn in here and the punch off, which it looks like he has, he's easily going to get him here.
He's got some mile an hour.
Look at
this
this.
Thing doesn't even wait there.
Across the start finish line. Bam. See ya.
Sure is there, Craig. He's in the Tartan Lambo. Well done, Brandon. Up to P4 from the back of the grid. That's a great drive. Now, Nev Shields still working over the back of Jordan Moss. Now, Lee Perkins as well. That was, while you're watching that, they were both having a big look.
Oh, look at the dodging and weaving into one there. Who's getting that? Stop go for cutting.
Uncle Joe.
Yep. So, boys, at it.
Yeah, so Perkins Factory, that one there was super, super tight coming out of turn 5 down through 6, 7. There was almost an overlap, which is about where they're coming up to again here now. So this is where Perkins was really, really strong. Went to the inside, got the drive, put the car up on the inside, coming through this little dogleg through 6 here. Not as close this time, but still in the hunt. Tyres at a premium now. If you've got it, use it, because they're certainly getting to the back end, the business end, heading towards that last quarter of an hour. And
time's winding down, isn't it?
Yeah, feel for Jordan Moss. He's done such a fantastic job here. Gone for the splash and dash. Opted to run just the single set of tyres for this 89-minute race. And this is going to be a really long last quarter of an hour coming up.
I tell you what, if anybody that I know that could do that, it is Jordan Moss. Seriously, the guy's, he's a long race master, so whether the strategy's correct or not is another question. But if anybody can do this stuff, he can do. And look, he's literally has been defending both Nash and Shields over the last 35 plus minutes, J-Man. So, yeah, very handy in the Mercedes. But, yeah, getting down to the back end of this race, yeah, looking tough. I'm sure he's working hard at the wheel to keep that whole little train in check. That is Jordan Moss, defending from Nev Shields. We also commenting on the Eddie Factory Lee Perkins battle going on just a little bit further forward, only just a couple of positions up the road. And this continues again. These guys, like the you know, Mossy, Shields and Nash, these guys find themselves equally paced on some of these tracks, and that's their race. That is who they're fighting throughout these events, and more than likely in the championship points as well. So very clean stuff. As you can just see, front of shot there in camera as we're looking, picking up on Eddie Factory's car there. That was Steve Belling in 6th position just running into 10.
Yeah, so just trying to get a read on the time. So Asrnz just threw on a 45.6. Webley was a second quicker than that
17
last lap
seconds
round,
away.
and he's just gone 44.7, so he's another second quicker. He needs more than that to make any inroads. However, I'm looking at the margins closely too between Shane Fodderdo, who does look like he's starting to run into some serious tyre issues. We're seeing that thing heavily sideways. Look,
So could we see
really,
Melling past?
well, he's 9 seconds off of the back of Fodderdo, but I tell you what, one spin out for Fodderdo if that thing gets too crazy loose, and Melling will be there because he won't.
Well, Melling hasn't
overdrive that.
Melling hasn't put a foot wrong all night. No. Cool as a cucumber, as always. Looking over the rear wing, a Jordan Moss still has Neville Shields lights ablaze in the Aston Martin. That's not going our way.
Well, he's under the wing. He's right there.
He's right there, and has been off and on throughout the race, but particularly in the last 20 minutes or so.
Yep.
Big challenges coming. Mossy working hard to hold down that position as that battle continues. Thackeray.
Well, here's a run up. He's got the inside line heading up to turn 4.
Oh, and he's got the inside line. Plenty of
Mossy
overlap.
runs deep. He's going to do this here.
Oh, look, Moss had really nothing to fight that with, and he won't have the overlap.
15 minutes. He'll be proud of that one.
He took 15 minutes.
It's a good effort.
It's a slow burn.
Yep.
Slow burn.
It's a slow burn. Yeah. Oh, Simpson had a big look on Baker there up to turn 4 as well. Just had to open the steering up. He may have just cooked it under brakes, but the other one as well is Lee Perkins, Eddie Thackeray as well. That one's still going on, and I feel like that actually did start lap 1, and we're now lap 42, and it's still going on.
Absolutely. A little over 13 minutes to run. Plenty of racing yet, ladies and gents. Again, we will thank MATCHFIT Entertainment broadcasting to you live on YouTube here tonight. Race Command, as always, keeping the servers running and keeping everything smooth at Asrnz. And you have joined us again tonight. Asrnz 2025 GT3 Series. It's round 8. It's Barcelona. If you couldn't already tell, it is hot and grippy. And the boys probably wishing the race would end any moment now, given their tyre wear. So 89 minutes on track tonight. I don't think there's actually any compulsory pit stops, but there's no way anybody in their right mind would want to do it, except for Jordan Moss, maybe.
Yeah, just went for the option, the 11-second splash and dash.
Well, it's because his fuel tank wouldn't last 89 minutes. So.
Yeah. But, hey, look, we have lost 3 degrees out of the track temp.
Yes.
We've lost, what have we lost? We've lost a good degree out of the ambient, and we've lost 3 degrees out of the track at 23 minutes past the hour of 4, effectively. So that's a little bit of a reprieve, I suppose. 33 is not as bad as 36.
Well, it's still 24 and fine in the comms booth here, so it doesn't really affect us, does it?
Just set the climate control up here.
Yeah.
But no, hey, look, Perkins Thackeray, that's still going on. They'll come out of this effectively P7, P8, because there's 5.5 seconds up the road now to Steve Melling. So he negated that as well, because if you remember, Thackeray started putting a bit of heat on him post-pit stop. And then Melling just held his own, pressed on. Thackeray had to deal with Perkins. And then he's done a good job. But these guys will come out of this one pretty pumped up with their race, because they have had an absolute arm wrestle the whole way for the duration of this race. So that's pretty cool. Kenny Simpson's been putting consistent pressure on Wally Baker throughout the second half of this race. So he's had some close good looks at trying to get through on Baker, and then he's just sort of at that final point just come unstuck and backed out of it. Ever the gentleman. So I am watching the margin with Webley. Talked about 17 odd seconds, Davo. That's now 13.5. So 45.9 plays a 44.5. So Webley's still making big inroads. Stewie can't afford any mistakes here, knowing that his eyes are on the prize, which is Vic Chan, who's 3.2 seconds up the road from him. And Toon's now checked out to the tune of 6.7 over Chan. So I think that settles the Giga argument of whether to be any team orders, because I think it's pretty clear what Maverick's up to right now. And he's, look, he's just going to just absolutely mang the last of whatever tyres this thing's got on it.
Yeah, clearly. 10 minutes to go, which is only, what, 6 or so laps left in this race, J-Man. And look, it might not be hotly contested up the pointy end at this moment, but I tell you what, 7th and 8 is, as we flick back the cameras to the Eddie Fackery Lee Perkins battle. Perkins showing the nose there again to Fackery, just going, mate, I'm still here. I'm still available. Perkins in the Ferrari, Fackery in the McLaren. Look like the McLaren running a little bit deep, a little bit understeer out of the back end of that turn 4. I think it is, J-Man. Easily done there if your car's not set up right. And you can just see in front of shot there every now and then. That is Steve Melling holding down 6th position at the moment. What is that gap actually between Melling and Frodo?
About 8.3, 8.4.
So it's holding
kind of
steady.
Plateaued. Yeah, it's kind of plateaued there. But I think he looks good to maintain that top 6. And that would see Steve Melling being first car home for the Pro-Ams. And you know, that's what he's racing for, you know, for the 713 car. And Steve-O, you know, he's a long-time friend of mine. He's calculated, man. This guy, you saw him sidestep for Webley pretty easily earlier on. He knows who he's racing. He knows that it's all about the 830 car and the 227 car. We've seen him and Damian Jones go to battle. And also, Timmy Nash, Nev Shields, you know, this will be a fist pump moment for Steve-O to get one up over those boys. And an enduro as well. So Steve-O loves this stuff. He relishes on the strategy. This probably bodes well for somebody like Steve-O, who is very consistent. He's calculated. You know, we talked about right at lap 1, he'll run to a number. He parked the car early.
Yeah, look, it's
fired it in there with a 44.4.
His driving style, J-Man, lends itself to this, doesn't it? He's just smooth, hits his marks, very consistent, very measured driver. So, these longer races really do suit his style, don't they?
Yeah, Webley to the pit
lane.
What is going on there? I'm not sure what's happened there. Try and see if we can get a quick word.
No penalties showing up.
No, I'm not sure what's going on there. Have we lost him?
I think we've
lost him off the grid. Oh, that is tragic. He was on such a good run.
So, that is tragic. And, was on an exceptional run. That has gifted pretty well everybody a position including Steve Melling, putting that Valvoline Mustang back up a position into 5th. I think it is, J-Man. Holding steady, like you said, behind Shade Frodo. What is not holding steady is Fackery's grip on 6 at the moment, because it looks like Lee Perkins would really like that position. Who just changed positions in the background? It was it Jordan Moss and Wally Baker? Something going on there somewhere there.
No. That was just the field settling down after the
the little shuffle. The shuffle.
Webley.
Yes. Yep. So Perkins, Fackery. This is a seesawing battle. This could change at any time, any corner, any lap here for the next 6.5 minutes. And a few laps yet to run. Fackery trying to stay focused forward, but will be very aware the ever-present Lee Perkins in the background flashing around in his mirror is a major threat. A little bit of attrition tonight. I think we started with 18. A couple of boys starting from the pit lane. Back down to 14 with only 6 minutes to run.
Yeah, the Enduro is certainly a big challenge for the boys. You know, this is predominantly a sprint round series, and this one really tests the guys, and as you mentioned, Dave, test them on the fact that, you know, it's 2 sets of tyres to do a 20-minute quali and then an 89-minute race is certainly going to, at the temperatures we were given, it's going to test any driver to try and get the best out of themselves and the car. So, yeah, I think everybody has done a great job here tonight. And, yeah, really a shame just to see Brandon. I'm not sure whether that was a fuel issue. Maybe he didn't get the fuel in the car when he changed that tyre, what went on. Hopefully we'll get a bit of an update on that at some point, maybe during the week, so we can touch base on that a little bit later next week. But, a little bit of a run wide there from Thackeray, so I don't interrupt that little bit of a debrief. But, mate, 5 minutes to go, and I think Thackeray just starting to run into a couple of tyre issues there. And
the cracks are showing just only ever so marginally, though. J-Man. It was a little bit like Mossy, you know, like he looked like he was really had a measure on Shields behind him, but a couple of little mistakes. And then you just get that one unforced run deep or something.
Yeah,
and it's all over.
One last run at Baker too, I think, before the end of this race. He's now within a half a second. And he'd dearly love to, I think, maybe try and grab Wally racing out of the silver class.
Yeah, it's been showing some great pace the last few weeks. Not a very up and down race for him here tonight, actually. Baker back in 12th position. Usually in the top 10. Barcelona, not everyone's favourite track.
Turner just sidestepping for those boys. Let them go.
So
what does that look like for Kenny Simpson? He is racing out of the Am stable. Uncle Joe retired the car. Davidson and Smith been absent for a while now. So Kenny Simpson looking strong for an Am title here this year. He'll be bloody stoked about that. The guy shows up every week.
Oh, yeah.
Is super consistent. Loves his Thursday night racing. And I believe in 7 days' time is going to get rewarded for it too. So good work from Kenny Simpson. Such a humble dude. Long time friend and sim racer, friend of ours, Davo. So that's good stuff.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, never the gentleman on and off track. So yeah, big kudos to Kenny in battle there with Wally Baker at the moment, just stepping aside from that battle to allow Antoon past.
Can you see what's happening here, Steve Melling, Shane Faraday? That went from 9 seconds to 2.4 in a heartbeat. Did we miss something there? Did Shane have a bit of a whoopsie? What's that car look like?
Shane could
Simpson
have.
Gets Baker. Gets him up between turn 9 and 10. Just like that.
Yeah, so Baker with a very awkward line through 9 after. Yeah, so the boys were just moving over to let Antoon through. So obviously Kenny, the first to let Phil through, and then clearly Wally just struggling with that little transition, allowing Simpson past Thackeray and Perkins, J-Man, and like you mentioned, the
Faraday must have had a mistake because he ran a 51.3.
There you go.
Versus Melling's 45.9, so that was the difference.
Thackeray on Perkins, very close.
So Antoon, he must have got across the line. He did get across the line, so it'll be this one plus one more, I believe.
I believe so. We haven't had the haven't had the call, so just snuck in there with literally a second or so to go, I would suspect, J-Man.
So Melling now, clear vision on the front straight. It's got around about, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20 car lengths between him and Shane Faraday. You can see him. We're just praying for another mistake. Perkins, Thackeray, however, they're Thackeray doing a good job that last lap, actually, just looking at that. 45.8 plays a 46.3 for Perkins, so he did a good job on that last lap. Perkins slightly off the pace from what he had been running. Antoon, he's still out there banking 45.7, 45.3 for Chan, 46.0 for Stu Arrowsmith. Gone a little bit quiet on Stu Arrowsmith and Vic Chan and Antoon in the recent past, by way of the fact that there's a pretty big margin between Antoon and Chan, 9.3, and then Stu Arrowsmith settled into the groove. And what was a really, really close battle through the start of this race, up to pit stops and thereafter. And now he's fallen around 4.2 seconds to the wayside of Chan. So he settled in for a comfortable podium, nothing to squabble at there, and then put nearly 30 seconds on Shane Fonadoe. And anytime you can do that over an accomplished pro driver in your class is a good day. As we hear the call, Antoon has started the final lap, Davo.
Yes, Antoon leading into the final lap. Vic Chan not far behind. Stu Arrowsmith holding down third position. Fonadoe just rolling out of the final corner with Steve Melling not that far behind him in the Mustang. So these guys coming across the line for their final lap here at Barcelona Round 8, Asrnz 2025 GT3 Series. Don't forget it, guys. Last round next week at Bathurst. It will be a cracker, always a cracker. All the links in the description to Asrnz Discord, MATCHFIT Entertainment, socials. Get on board. There will be another season. But yeah, one more round next week at Bathurst. Eddie Thackeray, Lee Perkins still going at it.
I reckon he's going to hang on here.
I think he is too. It really
just made a little
solid
bit
effort.
of inroads into Melling's gap there in the last two laps as well. It'll be a little too late.
As we watch Phil come across the line.
Yeah, brilliant victory for Phil Antoon.
Vic Chan rolls out on to the start-finish straight, comes across the line, takes a checkers for second. Stu Arrowsmith
gets himself a bag of podium.
Nice effort from Stu. Third position, like you said, bags of podium. Fonadoe in a very slippery tartan Lamborghini. It's been a little bit loose. It's like wearing a kilt, you know, there's not a lot of support underneath that thing. So he's rounding the final corner to take fourth position with Steve Melling hot in tow.
Yeah, and then look at this Thackeray Perkins. It's only fitting that those guys finished under, well, with about 3/10
or something. Yeah, very close.
And then solid drive from Damien Jones there. Holds off the likes of Nash and Shields for the better part of that one. So he had a solid race. A little bit lonely at the back end for Jonesy. Used to trading some close quarter stuff lately. But
the last couple of weeks particularly, actually, Damien Jones. Some great battles towards the end of the race. Nash across the line. Shieldsy. Simpson already across. Jordan Moss rounds the final corner in the bid bag Merc. Still pointing in the right direction. He's doing okay. For 10th position, mind you. Jordan Moss, well done. Kenny Simpson in 11th. Phil Turner in 12th. Wally Baker 13th. Phil Turner in 14th. Hang on, my numbers are a little bit wobbly. Right. Anyway, we got that. Let's get the boys down here.
Podium place getter at P3 here tonight in this 89-minute enduro is Stewie Arrowsmith. What a drive, Stewie.
Yeah, cheers, mate. It was a bit wishing to be over towards the end there. It was a bit lonely, but great fun. Had a good battle with Shane, so just couldn't match a bit.
Yeah, look, and you showed real intent early. Put the pressure on. Obviously went with the boys at the start, got Shane, and then it looked really, really close. I think Vic does these strange things, mate, in the pit lane every now and then. He managed to pull off a 31 second stop. You know, we always talk about 32 being pretty magical. You get that done, and then Vic goes and pulls off 31 when he needed to. And that was the difference on track position when you guys came out. You put a lot of pressure on him post-pit stop, Stewie, but then, you know, look, settled in, come out of it with a really, really good podium, mate.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Honestly, the Giga Boys look pretty solid leading up too. So I think, I'm not sure, have to have a chat, but I think old Shane might have run into some tyre pressure temp problems. I'm not sure, but unfortunate for him. But I'll take that. I'll tell you what, I had my eyes on Webley coming through the pack though. Trying to run the numbers down the big straight, but don't know where he went. But I'll take it.
Yeah, no, look, he had a beautiful race too from the back, and you know, we called it when he got past Shane that he was about 17 seconds behind you, and with about 10 minutes to go, he was around 13 seconds, and then all of a sudden we saw him in the back in the pit lane. So I'm not sure what happened to Webley, but nonetheless, mate, I'm sure you would have fought for it anyway if he'd have got there, and I think he probably would have run out of time. But look, Stewie, you know, we talked about the results throughout the season. First time stepping up into this category in 2025 and for the season. And look, you got to have a little bit of belief. You know, I know that you talked about Vic's coming for you, but you know, look, it's a big step. There's still Bathurst to go next week, and you're still in the box seat for a podium here on shaking out numbers. So you got to have a bit of belief, and you know, it's been a great season up to this point.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to all come down to Bathurst because you know, Super Sprint weekend is pretty crazy around there. But tonight I knew I've just got to minimise that gap to Vic, so couldn't beat him, stayed behind him. So yeah, pretty chuffed with that. Sweaty work. Looking forward to looking back at the stream, but that was good fun.
Nice,
yeah, 100%. Well, you got a lot of airtime in the first half up to pit stops and a little bit after, mate, and then it sort of plateaued out. But hey, look, fantastic drive. You look super comfy in the Beamer. The car looked great. You look great. Well done, Stewie. Talking a bit, mate.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks, MatchFit and Race Command.
No drama. Cheers, Stewie.
Thanks, Stewie Aerosmith.
There you go. And then
Ever the diplomat.
yeah, and then we'll bring the guy down.
It's like he's on the payroll, this guy.
Yeah. And Vic Chan got a handle on that Porsche tonight, mate. A little bit of unwanted pressure, maybe heading towards pit stop time, mate. Were you expecting it to be that close?
Yeah, Stu was all over me. So I don't know, my tyres were just too hard to manage. These re-engine cars, the rear tyres just get smoked. So I just can't keep it up. At the beginning, it's good, but then later on, it's just too much. Mav would have got me either way if I didn't make that error.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's some pretty critical numbers that happened in there that I'm not sure how aware of them you are. But Stewie came in and did a pretty cool stop, 32 seconds stationary, and he did a 1:03 overall transit time. Now, most guys that were doing a 32 stationary were getting a 1:04 transit time. Now, you came in and you did this magical this 31-second stuff that you do, which is picture perfect. I don't think it gets any better than a 31-second tyre change. But it actually rolled you out at a 1:04 total transit time. But I believe that 31-second stop was the difference on track position, given how you guys came out. Obviously, there's a little bit of give and take on the in-lap, out-lap. But I think when you needed to, you stepped up because Stewie didn't do anything wrong when it came to pit stops, and he came into the pit lane on the back of you, and then you just stepped up. So I'm not sure how acutely aware you are of the numbers, but man, that was picture perfect in the pit.
I actually thought he was going to get me because when he pitted, I was stuck behind, I think, Aaron. So I lost a bit of time behind him, and I knew that he tried to undercut me because I was stuck behind him. So I was like, oh, no, he's going to get me. So I just tried to put my head down and get consistent laps and then see where it plays out. And then turns out I was just in front of him, which was lucky.
Yeah, and then obviously we're going to touch base with Mav shortly on his, but were you expecting it to be so close when you exited pit lane with Mav?
Oh, no, I actually thought he was going to be long gone. So I was there. It's just like as soon as my tyres start overheating on the rears, I just can't manage it. It's just too much in this Porsche because you're on the edge of those rears.
Hey, look, it's all probably going to come down to Bathurst for what will be an overall podium for this season 1 2025. So you're obviously aware of the numbers that there's still potential for the Giga to go a little bit deeper into this title hunt.
It'll be a good race, but I don't think this Porsche will have anything for those cars with top end speed.
Yeah,
I'll
it'll
do
be
my best
strong-
though. I'll
it'll be
enjoy the
strong
racing
over
there.
It'll be strong over the top, I'm sure. So
Yeah, but you can't pass there. That's the main thing. So it's
yeah,
should be fun though. I'll try and keep the pressure on to make them smash into the wall.
no.
Well,
Awesome
we look
stuff,
forward
Vic.
to that.
Yeah,
Should be fun.
awesome stuff. Well constructed race there tonight. I thought it was well played out. Beautiful qualifying.
Yeah,
mate.
well done to Mav. I had nothing for him like towards the end. At the beginning of my stints, I can, but then as soon as my tyres started to overheat, it was all over. So yeah, well done
Yep.
to him. Well done to Stu as well.
Yep. No, well done, Vic, mate. Entertaining
Nice work.
stuff. Thanks for the
Cheers,
chat,
guys.
and looking forward to next week.
See you guys.
Yep.
Good, mate.
Bye.
All right. Cometh the man, cometh the minute. We love it when a Datsun's on the top step. You got us, Mav?
We do like
Hey,
a Datsun
boys.
on the top step. G'day, Mav.
Wow.
Mate, flawless. Absolutely fantastic race. I think I'm looking for stuff to talk about. Probably the worst part I could pick out of your races. Did you run off for a drink at the pit stops? Why were you in there 35 seconds?
You say flawless, but yeah, I missed my pit box. And
Okay.
yeah, lost about 4 seconds there. That's where Vic caught up to me. But yeah, other than that, the race was pretty good, I think. Bit sweaty, but it was quite exciting at the beginning behind Vic. I just thought I'd let Vic do Vic things and didn't expect it to be after lap 3, but I was enjoying the first few laps behind him. So
Yep.
Good race by him as well. And then I think his tyres just kind of die halfway through the stints.
Yeah. Now, so talk to us about that. We saw a different strategy play from a few guys tonight. Obviously, you guys went out and you punched some good laps. I think Faraday went 5 laps. You went 4, plus an out lap. What was the scenario now that obviously post-race we can talk about it? Did you start on the quali tyre or did you finish on it?
I started on it. I didn't want to do too many laps on the quali tyre. I didn't think, whoever starts is going to win the race. So I tried to keep it around 4 laps in. I saw the other boys doing quite a bit more.
Yep.
I wasn't sure what their strategy was going to be for the race. I thought maybe they're going to go long and just get fuel. But nah, when I saw them, basically at the start of the race, you can tell within the first lap
Yep.
the strategy is. So,
Yep.
So then I was just thought my tyres should be a little bit better, hopefully, at least over the 89 minutes.
And so given that it's not the longest enduro you would have done in your time and that, but the temperatures were hot. What was that opening set like, and then what was that like versus the outgoing set after the pit stop? How bad were they, or were they okay?
The first stint, I took a bit of a gamble with the tyre pressures. They were a bit too high, so I adjusted them before the pit. Definitely the second stint felt a lot better. I felt like I could keep it consistently around the 45 flats or under. First stint couldn't do that. So definitely an improvement in the second stint. Probably also helped because they were brand new tyres, don't know. But yeah, it definitely felt like I could have gone another 20 minutes. Tyres felt really good.
And so when you talk about over a little bit higher, how far outside the window are we talking about? A PSI or more?
Not even full PSI, about 0.5. Yeah.
And temps weren't too bad at that. You were managing obviously to keep them in the realm.
Temps were great.
Yep,
Yeah,
okay.
I opened up all the brake ducts. They were both on 5, front and back, just to deal with the top hot track. So, yeah, it was good. They didn't turn even a little bit yellow, I don't think. So, and just tried to not put too much pressure on them on the big right hander. So yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, nice. And you look, 7 days to go. We got one more go at this thing. We've got a super sprint, Bathurst. One hand pretty much on the trophy though at the moment, Phil. But you don't need a broken car at any point up there still, obviously with Shano obviously a little bit of a not as good around, but you know, still top 4 for Shano is a good result, but he's still mathematically in the hunt. If things go bad, you'll be aware of that, I'm sure.
Well, you never know, right? Bathurst. Do you remember what
That's
happened
right.
last time?
Oh, yeah.
I do. Yeah. How
We
can we
do.
forget?
That was a shit show, that one.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, it's going to be fun. So I
Yeah.
think I might just see how I go in the first
No,
couple
and
of
it's
races.
awesome because, like, last year, it's gonna, like, the whole top 4, 3 or 4 of yous are, like, really close together in the points, which is awesome. It's all going to come down to the wire again, so.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
good. It's good that Bathurst is last, so
Yeah.
whoever made that call.
Yeah. And,
I'll let them know.
And three goes at it. 3 goes.
And
at
3
it.
short shots at it, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
good stuff, Phil. Hey, another fantastic performance, mate. And look, you know, since obviously round 1, Zandvoort, you know, you had a week off there, and then just looking at the results, just fantastic 1s and 2s. Little, you know, slip up there. Mazzano race 2, Newberg race 1. Outside of that, mate, she's been podium the whole way through. That's the way you got to do it, right? Like, especially when you're competing with, especially your stable, the Giga Boys. They just turn up every week, and then you've got guys like Stewie Arrowsmith out of 777 that's just stepped up, and you know, he was optimistic coming into this one tonight about the performance that he could, you know, provide up against you boys, but he was still there or thereabouts. So you got to keep the hammer down the whole time, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. You can't really afford to have more than one bad round if you want to be up there. So
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, pretty pleased. I think that's my first enduro win at ASRNZ. So
Awesome.
Well done, mate.
the curse is broken.
The
Yeah,
curse is
done,
broken.
mate. Yeah. She's up and up from here. No, well done, Phil. No, fantastic stuff, mate. Phenomenal race there tonight, and man, I'm super pumped, ready to see what
Next
we
week.
get out of an action-packed Bathurst with you boys next week. So well done, mate.
Absolutely.
Cheers for the chat. Enjoy that one.
Yeah, cheers, fellas. Appreciate it again. Thanks.
Thanks, Phil.
See you. Bye.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. J-Man.
Can I just grab one more?
Oh, okay.
One more. Yeah, you got to let me.
Come
do it,
on,
because
hurry up.
just because this guy had such a fantastic race. Steve, you got us on comms, mate.
Oh, Steve.
Hey, guys. Yeah, got that.
Yay.
Whoop, whoop. Top 5,
Good
mate.
work.
Fantastic drive. Car looks super straight all night. I don't know if it felt that way at the hands tonight, but tuned into you a few times tonight, man. It just looked like you're driving
fair
that thing
bit.
to a number. Yeah, yeah. It looks
On
so
the home,
good.
so thanks for that. Yeah, definitely. Just saying to the guys there that noticeable tire drop in performance, and it was like you got like 3 or 4 laps of this awesome, amazing grip, and then a sudden change of grip, and you had to sort of adjust your driving style a little bit. About the 20-minute mark, there was another noticeable drop that meant you had to sort of brake a little bit earlier, brake straighter, go a lot slower in to get the exit out. So at that point, it was a delta race for me. I didn't want to look at so much. I knew the gaps to the guys behind me after they pitted. And I knew they had pace, but I couldn't really focus on what they were. The gap was getting down to. Just sort of focus on my delta, knowing that if I got within half a second of my delta, I just didn't see him having enough pace to catch me before the end. And
So that was the Eddie Thackeray and Lee Perkins that were behind you. They were engaged in a battle, and actually you guys tightened up post pit stop, Steve-O, and then for whatever reason, whether it was just consistent pace from yourself or those guys getting in a battle, you actually pulled that margin out to around about that 5 second, which was kind of handy. They pulled it back to about 3 at the back end, but I was more conscious about what you were doing when Shane obviously had a whoopsie, and it went from about 8.5, 9 seconds to 2.5, whether your eyes lit up at the back end with only about 4 or 5 minutes to go, whether you sort of thought you were half a chance there with Shane with compromised tyres. Did you get a bit hungry there, or not really?
No, I was concerned that his tyres had gone off and that he was going to just hold us up and then let those guys behind catch, which I just didn't have the capacity to deal with. So I was happy to run on my own. And so, yeah, I was happy to see Shane sort of recovered and his tyres were gone. But, yeah, he didn't become a factor, which is good. I was just happy with my result as it was and not looking for more. Just didn't want to lose 2 spots to those guys behind me.
Yeah, first Pro-Am car home, mate, like comfortably tonight. The 713 Mustang was all about it tonight. So obviously got it over Thackeray, Jones, Nash, and Shieldsy, which is, and if you look at the results of late, those guys have all been punching big numbers. Obviously,
Hell
Shieldsy
yeah.
coming off
Yep.
the back of a
Yep.
P4 the week before, and that. So, like that class that you're in at the moment, that's a tough class. Like one could argue, obviously, the pro class is pretty tough. The silver class has been a mixed bag this year, I felt, with Moss, Perkins, and Baker, and that sort of mixed bag of results. But your class, the Pro-Am class, is a tough gig to be the top guy out there at the moment. So it's a freaking good job, mate, what you did tonight. And before we let you go, you talked about those 2 losses of performance on the tyre throughout that. Would it be fair to say that when that went away on your car tonight, that the balance was probably equal from front to rear? Because it didn't show up on the TV, mate, that the car was any worse at the front. So was that balance quite even?
It was all about throttle control, just having enough through those long corners that you're not giving it too much and you're not giving it too little. And that would, as you got the balance on the throttle, it seemed to keep the weight quite neutral on the car, I suppose. And it was, like you say, it was pretty well balanced, even though the tyres had gone. But it was a changing your style, so you weren't too heavy on the brakes turning into the apex, and then picking up the throttle, so just the right amount so that the car reacts without overreacting.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of, I remember thinking, man, this is the most disciplined I've been for a while through a few corners where I'd normally use the limiter. I'd be happy just to click one more up on the limiter and go flat, and it was like, I'm getting the turn I need. I just need to consciously think of the tyres. And so the long corners, not to over scrub the steering, and then through the stuff that's a bit looser, just not to step the back out too much. And if you didn't do either, then you get, I felt like I got within 0.34 of my delta and then just lost another 0.3 or 4 through that last chicane, just not having the grip. And then, so that would be like a 0.7 on an average lap, slower than my delta. And then on some laps, got real concerned and it blew out to over a second, and I could see the guys behind catching. And then it's like just a reset every time you cross the line to go right back to that. I want to be 0.3 or 4 here on the track, and then I know when I get the finish line, it's going to be 0.6, 0.7 or something like that, and that's going to be good enough.
Yeah, and I mean, hindsight's 20/20 vision, but it almost seemed ominous at the start of the night. Steve-O, yourself and Stewie went out, smashed out a couple of 44.4s, parked the car after one lap, preserved the tyre. You knew it was probably going to be all about preservation of the rubber tonight, so I thought that was a smart play at the start of the night. And then when I saw those numbers come up, because there was a bee stick between yourself and Stewie, who's an accomplished pro driver at the moment, he's proven that. And then the start of the race, I was quite inspired and sort of picked on you a little bit through the Davo and the cams and stuff with just the way that you hung onto the back of those boys at the start, Aerosmith, Bodo and co. I thought that you guys definitely checked out nice and early, and the pace was good. And I don't really think when I started quoting the numbers, because we saw some 44s come out really, really early from those boys, I don't think it was because they were in effect managing their pace. They were going for it from the get-go, so you were there on legit pace. So it was pretty, it was pretty obvious right from quali and then the start of the race that you were comfy and the car was good as well. So it was a good night, mate. It was worthy of having a chat because, man, it was an impressive drive. First car home for the Pro-Ams. Well done.
Yeah, shot, boys. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And I'd say you just talked about Stu and Slambo, and I keep looking up ahead into turn one and going, man, that's side by side. Trying to go through turn one. So that wasn't helping them with tyre wear, and lap times as well. So that certainly kept me in the game. And then there was a point where Slambo was like, you're making me use my tyres too hard, Stewie. So you need to go. Focus on this.
Yeah.
Those boys ran a few extra laps in quali, and they came in and used both sets of tyres because it was quite cool seeing the top three push each other, go out for another set. And I was like, oh, that's cool. They want this pole, so, and that's going to cost them in the race later on. So, good entertainment wise.
What's your thoughts, Steve-O? Was that a win for racing as far as the two tyre straight on 89? You'd do it again, you reckon?
It's easy as far as the tyre. Such an endurance tyre, they can go long, but the noticeable loss of performance relative to your peers, is it just makes it a factor every time. So it works really well. I enjoy, like I say, yeah, the quali, got lucky, did a lap early, park it up, look after those tyres. I felt them go off earlier. I ran them at the start of the race and felt them go off pretty early. So I was glad I got away with that. If I hadn't got a good lap in, I think I would have still parked it because it was all about the tyre.
Yeah, 100%. Well, cheers for the chat, Steve-O. Good luck getting to sleep tonight, mate. That was fantastic. Well-deserved top 5, mate. Good work, and looking forward to seeing the Mustang at Bathurst next week, buddy.
Awesome stuff.
Shot, boys. Thank you very much. Thanks for the job you guys do.
Too easy.
Mate.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Steve-O.
Steve Belling, everyone.
Hey, so on reflection, just something that Steve-O is, before we wrap up the show, Dave-O, Steve-O just mentioned about, himself and Stewie doing that one lap, and you had guys like Vic Chan and co that ran 4 and 5.
Yep.
Fodeno ran quite a few. Perkins ran quite a few. I wondered whether that actually played dividends into the way that Stu Arrowsmith came back at Vic Chan just pre-pit stops. He was right on him, and he wound him back of those last sort of 3-4 laps. Potentially that was maybe the difference on that opening tyre, the fact that Stewie opted for maybe one and done versus Chan's
without a doubt.
Definitely 4 laps. So yeah, interesting scenarios, and well played out, well constructed. Well done Asrnz management for putting on another fantastic option enduro. So yeah, Davo, I will
absolutely, yes. Thank you, J-Man, and thank you, viewers, again for joining us here for ASRNZ's 2025 GT3 series. You just witnessed all around 8 goodness from Barcelona, proudly broadcast to you by Davo, myself, and J-Man here at MatchFit Entertainment. And thank you, Race Command. We will see you all next week for the finale, Bathurst, the triple trouble. It's going to be at Bathurst, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. Everyone knows it. Always good fun to watch. Join us once again. Hit the like and subscribe on the way out the door, ladies and gentlemen, and we shall see you all next week. Thank you for joining us.